CM Punk just called out Hangman Adam Page after AEW Collision went off the air in Greensboro last night, and it just reignited one of the most insane wrestling stories of the past year. I'm Omer Q for Real Take Wrestling. Before we get started, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Okay, so of course, CMFTR last night took on the AEW Trios champions in the House of Black at the main event of AEW Collision in Greensboro, North Carolina. And following the conclusion of that match, the show went off the air. And as AEW and most wrestling companies at this point normally do after a televised event, they send the crowd home happy. They have the big faces come out and do a speech, cut a promo, and make people laugh, do some lighthearted jabs maybe, things like that. And while, normally these things are like not really meant to progress storylines or anything like that, CM Punk said something very interesting, and I'm going to play the audio of the clip right now. Here's what he said about Hangman Page.
To a local supermarket and I figured out why they call him Hangman. It's because the pegs in the toy aisle are full of Hangman action figures because nobody wants to buy them.
Oh! You son of a bitch!
He's a peg warmer. Unlike me, who moves merchandise and pops ratings and sells toys.
Now, of course, CM Punk was not exactly greeted as the big-time babyface that he might be accustomed to or people expect him to be in Greensboro, North Carolina last night. He was given a bit of a mixed reaction, and of course, you could argue that that's because North Carolina is Kenny Omega country at this point. But this was interesting to see because while we've seen shots taken, between the Young Bucks and CM Punk, and we've seen even Kenny Omega at least respond, not take a shot at, but at least respond to what happened at AEW All Out 2022, and CM Punk, of course. We've never heard Hangman Page say anything about this. The most that Hangman Page in this entire scenario, in this entire story, the most he's ever said came in the form of that now infamous promo that almost led CM Punk to torpedo his entire career. The workers' rights line, which indirectly, you could argue, took a shot at CM Punk. I'd argue that it was just kind of playing off of reality, as a lot of promos in modern professional wrestling do. But to hear this, right, and I understand it wasn't for public consumption necessarily. However, you also, I think CM Punk's smart enough to know that people have phones. I know he doesn't watch YouTube. I know he doesn't surf the internet too much outside of Twitter and Instagram. But you would think that CM Punk knows, like, hey, if I say something, it's probably going to be recorded, especially if it's out in front of the fans in the ring. So, given that, and given the fact that you had him say that, Hangman Page ain't selling merchandise, ain't selling action figures at Walmart or whatever grocery store he went to, it is, I don't know. Of course, like, the grudge is still going to be there. Like, one thing we kind of know about CM Punk at this point, and this is like, of course, I don't know him. I don't know Hangman Page. I don't know anyone. This is just like me, like, in my high level view of all of this. The one thing we kind of understand, I think, at this point about CM Punk is that when he holds a grudge, he holds a grudge. It's just how he is. And like that All Out press conference is probably the best example of it. Like, and we've all kind of been there, like when you're mad about something and you just can't let it go in that moment. Like, that happens. But for this to come out, like, there's two things here. Number one, either, like, they're kind of all squared away, everyone's cool with it, and this is just playing off of the story, playing off of the momentum of the story, playing off of what's going to drive interest, which is, like, you can't deny the CM Punk versus the Elite and Hangman Page thing. this has driven a lot of interest into AEW for better or worse. And for the latter part of 2022, it was a lot of bad. But I think that this is kind of just playing off of that to kind of rile up the fans for an eventual feud between himself and the Elite in whatever form it may be. He might not ever wrestle Hangman Page ever again, but if that's the end goal, I kind of see it. The other side of this just could be that, he wanted to take a shot. He had a platform to do so. It hasn't stopped CM Punk before. He's taken, at this point, multiple direct shots in public at Hangman Page. And again, that's not saying that this is what this is, or that is what this is. It's just saying that it's what we know to be true, like the all-out media scrum and that Dynamite after he returned from his original leg injury, he called him out and in a very direct, shooty way that was meant to insult him. Um, that being said, I mean, it is undeniable what CM Punk said, though. Like, is he a draw? Of course he is. On Saturday nights, outside of the SummerSlam pay-per-view, like the week before, they had like an 800,000 view night on a card that I thought was relatively weak. Like the ratings have been good for AEW Collision, and for anyone to argue at this point that CM Punk isn't a draw, I think you just don't know what you're talking about. It's to be determined whether or not this kind of the good outweighs the bad. So far, the good really outweighs the bad because we haven't heard that much drama about Punk and the Elite backstage. That might have something to do with Punk and the Elite not being together backstage, but I guess we'll see what happens. I do want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think about Hangman Page, CM Punk, this shooty promo that he cut after Collision, went off the air? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And also, just a quick message to all of the Real Take Wrestling fans, every single one of you. I want to thank you for bearing with me over the past week. I have been very sick, and while I think I'm getting a little bit better, I think it's going to take a few more days for me to really get back into action with live streams, podcasts, more news updates. And in case you've been wondering, like, where have like the videos been and all that, reasons because I've been sick. Again, I thank you all for really bearing with me. It's trying to get through this video has been a bit of a task for me, but I do appreciate you. If this, I know this isn't the quality of video you guys expect at this point, but I'm trying to do my best. I'm trying to get back into the groove of it, but hopefully I'll feel better over the next few days, and we'll be able, there we go, to put out some dope content for y'all. So I appreciate y'all bearing with me. Until next time, keep it real.